Hey guys, welcome to Martin Matreger's Tips and Tricks. My name's Martin Matreger. I'm not a professional, but I play one on YouTube. Today we're going to talk about my Chevy van. I got a 2009 Chevy Express van. It's a big one, and I've been having some noises, basically some clicking, clunking, especially when I start it up. Changes when you put it in gear. Anyways, I took a look, and what I suspected was exactly what was wrong with it. So I already have it partway apart. I took the flex plate out, and as you can see, here's the old flex plate, and it's in two pieces. Okay, so that's where my noise was coming from. That was the clicking and stuff. I'm just shocked. I was using the van to tow a trailer last week, a pretty heavy trailer on top of it too, and it got through. I was just fortunate, so. But now it's time to change that flex plate out, and I bought this new flex plate off of Amazon, but I found I basically went online to like a GM website, parts website, so I found the number on that, went to Amazon, used that to find it. This does look like the right one. I did check it. It's the same amount of teeth. Same amount of teeth. Okay, all the way around. So I shouldn't have any problems with the gears grinding when the starter engages. So here, let me turn my light so you can see. So yeah, you can see that's just the right teeth, okay? So that was the first thing I checked just to verify. The other thing that I verified was I took the broken piece, my holes all line up. See all the holes lined up. Okay. Now, you might ask what caused this to break. There are several things that could have caused it to break. Oh, there's a ghost. That's interesting. Anyways, one of the things that could have caused it to break is just basically it might have been made not quite right. This van does have over 200,000 miles on it. Wear and tear, a lot of flexing. Definitely heavy loads. I'm towing some pretty heavy trailers with it. I did put a heavier duty torque converter on it. So torque converter itself, because it has 6 locations to bolt to instead of the typical 3, that could have caused it to break as well. Now, as you can see, they changed the design a little bit. It looks like this one has the ability to flex a little bit more. So why do you need the flexing? Well, transmissions and engines do not line up perfectly. You need to have the ability for it to flex a little bit so that it helps align it without ruining the front seal or the front bushing of your front pump on your transmission, or causing damage to the crankshaft and so forth. So that's why you have that flex plate. It will flex back and forth a little bit while it's running. So okay, so what are my tips? I mean, I haven't shown any yet. I just showed you what's broken, okay? But wait, how did I get this flex plate out? If you look, I don't see a trans on the floor. And that's why I was like, hey, wait, I should probably show people how I did this. So one of the first things you want to do is you jack it up, get some height here, okay? Another thing you want to do is you're going to open and take your doghouse off. When you take your doghouse off, there's going to be the bolts. There's these bolts. Sorry about the lighting. These bolts that bolt the top of the trans on. So you have to, it's really hard. You have to get some wrenches in here and use a wrench to get the 3 top bolts out of the trans. Okay. Now, let me go underneath. See if I can make you dizzy. Okay, so we're gonna go underneath here. And next thing I did was I dropped the drive shaft. Okay, to drop the drive shaft, I kind of disconnected the linkage to the transmission so I could put it in neutral so I could turn it. You should mark, by the way. I have a marking right here, and there's a marking up there. I don't know if you can see that marking. So you should mark your drive shaft so it goes back on the same way. It's not 100% important, but if you had no vibrations before, you want to keep it that way, just put it back on the way you took it off, okay? I just carefully set it on the ground. I did not drop it. Okay. Next thing I did, let's see if I can show you this. I took my bolts out from the rear trans mount to the transmission itself. I took the 2 bolts out on both sides. So I took that out. Okay. So I haven't done a lot so far. And you can see it moved a little bit. It's only moved about 1.5 inches, and that's all you really need. And then I took these long bolts. I'll go over this way. And I threaded them in. I pulled all my transmission bolts out, and I found the same threaded bolts. They're extra long. Excuse me. And I threaded them in so that it'll help hold the trans in place. And then I just pried the trans apart from the engine after of course, you have to unbolt all the torque converter bolts first. So you unbolt all the torque converters, push it as far back to the transmission as you can, okay? And then, after you unbolt all those torque converter bolts, then you can push the transmission away from the engine block. And you can see, I really only got about 1 inch, but maybe 1.25 inches. However, the torque converter slides in too. It's butted up in here. So, because it's butted up in here, it gives me even a little bit more room. But you can see, it's tight. Don't get me wrong, man. It's tight. But the next step is to get the 6 bolts out that hold the flex plate to the crankshaft. So, here's the bolts themselves. Okay, and they go up in there. But you can see I could just barely get my hand up in there to get the torque converter bolts in, okay, and thread it, okay. But you can. The bolts can go in there. You can take them out. And then you just use a wrench. And then I found a wrench set up. Let's see if we can find it. Okay. Here's my wrench. So I used this wrench, but I needed some leverage because those bolts are pretty tight. And I can't get I won't be able to get a torque wrench up in there. That's okay. I'm just going to tighten the F out of it. Okay. And so what I end up doing. So here, I'm going to adjust my light here so you can see. I used an extension with a socket, 12-point socket. That actually fits right there. That gave me the extra leverage. Lots of leverage now to bust those bolts loose. And once I got them loose enough, use my little ratchet wrench to get it the rest of the way out. Okay? Now when I'm done, I'm not going to show you this because I'm not going to keep you guys all day long. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to use pry bars somewhere strategically to push the transmission until it gets flush with this. And it's nice because I already got bolts in here helping it line up. If I can't get it all the way flush, I'm going to use the bolts to carefully put a bolt up, like up at the higher one, and draw it in carefully. But whenever you draw in a transmission, you want to just keep looking. The biggest thing you want to make sure this remains free. As long as this is free, okay, to move, you're okay. But if you see or feel any kind of restriction to moving the torque converter, something's binding, it's not lining up right. So you got to find out what's causing it, move the transmission around a little bit, it might pop into place. The other thing I'm just going to warn you about, now that I got a lot of play out here, you don't want to push this toward the engine until we are seated right here. Once we're seated right here, then it's okay to push this up against the new flywheel, okay? So, let me go grab my flywheel. So some flywheels, okay, some flywheels are actually balanced to the engine itself. But when you buy aftermarket flywheel, it is not. I can't, you know it's not, because they didn't have my engine. So, but there are alignment holes, and you can see there's 2 holes here. Okay, now some crankshafts will have a little dowel pin that these will go in. Mine did not have a dowel pin. It didn't. But I do want to line these up with that. And the other thing that you want to do is make sure you put the flex plate on the right direction. Okay, there is a front and back to this. Usually, well, that says, oh yeah, right there. Sorry. If you look at this, it says engine side. Guess what? This goes toward the engine. That way, it keeps you from getting messed up. So make sure that goes by the engine, and then make sure your 2 holes for alignment holes line up with the crankshaft. Now, I was lucky enough to put mine in where the hole faces downward. So I'm gonna try to hold the camera. Wow, everything's falling around, and I must have a ghost. Okay, I gotta get my flex plate up there. Now, I put the flex plate up, and it slides over pretty easily, and that's okay. It will center itself. Okay, and there's my alignment hole, but my alignment is a little bit down. I gotta look. Okay, I'm gonna actually move this camera. Sorry guys, I know it's not the best camera work, but I can see my hole. I'm actually looking at my hole on this side. You probably can't see with the camera, but trust me, it's there. So now it's lined up. I could use 2 hands. I'm gonna use 2 hands. Now it actually has it's a tapered fit. So this is gonna line up and get tight. So it's kind of tight right now. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start a bolt, and I'm gonna get it run up, but not all the way. After I run it up, I'm going to turn it, get another bolt in, turn it, get another bolt in, and go all the way around, but I'm not tightening any of them. I'm going to tighten them slightly, just kind of push it in, because like I said, it's a tapered fit, so this flywheel will center itself, but you don't want to jam down on one bolt, because you'll cock the plate and bend stuff right off the bat. The key is to take your time and go around in circles. If your trans was out of the way, you could stagger it and go, crisscross when you tighten it, but my trans is in the way. I'm not taking it all apart to do that. I'm just going to take my time and slowly tighten the bolts as I turn the crankshaft until it's flat, and then I'm going to tighten the heck out of it. It wouldn't hurt to use some Loctite, blue or red, either one. Red is a little harder to get off. Blue, you could probably get off with a wrench. Red, you might need to heat it or use an impact. So it's up to you. I probably just use blue. And then tighten the heck out of it because I don't have a torque wrench. And then once you get that, put your transmission back, put all your bolts in, put your 6 flywheel bolts. By the way, the 6 flywheel bolts, same deal. Get all 6 of them in until they're snug. Then go around and tighten them all, okay? And the rest is just hard work, guys. I'm not going to show you how to slide the trans back. You're just going to use like a pry bar and push somewhere safely on a trans location to push it inward. It should go pretty easily, okay? My name's Martin Traeger. I hope you like this tips and tricks for the day. Please subscribe to my channel, by the way. Hit the like button. Maybe share it with your friends. I'm trying to hit that 1,000 mark. I'm getting closer and closer every day. Anyways, hey, I knew a friend named David, and he lost his ID. We just call him Dave now. All right. Thanks.